What is hypnosis? What does it feel like when you're being hypnotized? These are very common questions that I get on a daily basis when I meet people or I'm giving consultations. So, because a lot of people have the wrong impression about hypnosis, and that's because of entertainment, movies or high school entertainment, right? It's not like that. Absolutely not. The client, are always under control. You can hear everything. You're just relaxed. You're not sleeping. And you get out of it by just simply open your eyes. Okay, that easy. I have clients that need to go to the bathroom, or I had one client who had to go and pick up her children during her session. So there's just sometimes, they have to take the dogs out because they start barking. And they just do their thing. Of course, we avoid interruptions, but it happens. And if it does, very, very easy and simple. So when you are hypnotized, right, it feels just like when you just wake up or before you're going to sleep, when you're in between states. You feel very relaxed and you can hear everything. You're in control. You do not know you're hypnotized because we're talking. I am taking you back to the scenes, so I'm connected with your subconscious, and I'm just asking the right questions. I'm investigating. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing investigation work. I'm really getting to the bottom, to the root of your issue, whether it's physical pain, whether it's like cancer, autoimmune, depression, anxiety, feeling stuck, keeping yourself small, addictions, okay, you name it. It's sleeping issues, weight. So these are just examples, okay, of all these sessions that I have given, and also that I have done on myself because I had to practice, during school, and I've done a lot of sessions were given to me during practice. So one thing I feel, especially people who are in their mind a lot. So if you are someone who wants to be like a control of the situation, you're in your mind a lot, you're gonna feel anxious because it's unfamiliar. Very understandable. Your brain is doing its job, okay? Your brain wants to keep you safe. Your brain does not like unfamiliar. Right? It's not your brain's job to make you happy. Your brain's job is to protect you, to keep you safe, away from pain. Think about the caveman, the early days of human beings, okay? The brain's job was to tell you there's a tiger, stay away, run, hide, because it's danger. Okay, so the brain is still doing the same job, even though we have evolved. Okay, now what happens is when you are little, between 0, so since you were in your mother's womb, up to 7, so the first 7 years, okay, you acquired programs from your parents or your guardians, okay, the first people that you are around from 0 to 7. You acquired their conditions. So if those guardians, okay, parents or guardians, if they had issues, if they had anxiety, depression, fear, weight issues, smoking, alcohol, low self-worth, not feeling not enough, which is always the root of all the issues, then these conditions are passed on to you. And same for them. They acquired their programs from their parents. So you get to see right now, okay, how we are the accumulation of generational programs, okay? And if you're listening to this, it's because you were chosen to break these ancestral family programs, okay? This is also called epigenetics because, yes, things are passed through your DNA. You do inherit, right? There's science behind this. However, there's also epigenetics, the science of how to break that, whatever you inherit through your DNA, through your families. So if when you look at your shadow, inner child work, shadow work, this is all the same, okay? When you look at your inner child to heal, because you're dealing with addiction or anxiety, or you have health issues, physical health issues, all kind of issues, then when we get to see the root of it and how you acquired it, when I take you back and you work on it, we reprogram your brain. So first we get to the root. First we need the why. Okay, this is how I'm designed. I'm a 4-1 profile, human design, for you to who are in the human design. So why for everything is my main question. Get to the root of everything is my identity, if you will. So well, first we have to understand why you acquired it, because the brain needs understanding. You get clarity. You get to see. I gotta move backwards because there's a spider hanging here. I don't want to be in her way. I mean, I am in her habitat. So yes, we get to see the why, understand why you got these fears. Speaking of fiber, fiber. I don't know where fiber came from. Spider. Speaking of spider, I had a session with an 11-year-old about 3 weeks ago who had the fear of spider. And once I showed her where it came, and we made the connection, she is doing so much better. And it just gives me, it gives me so much joy, because now she's able to be outside more. And she even shared, she had an experience where the spider got on her body, her leg, the other day, and she took a deep breath in. She stayed calm and was doing like deep breaths and called her dad. He removed it, and it was great. So now she's not living that constant fear like before she met me. So just 3 weeks, and she's only 11 years old, which I'm super, super proud and grateful. This work is very humbling. But just 3 weeks, how when you decide, that's how it starts. You have to decide to make a change. Okay, so there's so much type of help out there for inner child shadow work. You don't have to do hypnotherapy. You could choose other type of work if this doesn't resonate with you. And this is actually my next point that I wanted to make today. You have to make sure that you trust the healer, the person, the mentor. You have to connect, right? Because I tell people, listen, I used to be that person where I trusted everybody. I was like innocent and naive. And then I have learned the hard way, right? That trust needs to be earned. So that's why I tell people, don't trust me. Don't trust it just like that. Make sure that you connect intuitively with whoever you're choosing to do this path with, like to do this healing, because not all hypnotherapists are the same, right? No, I've heard terrible stories. One in particular, a good friend of mine, he's in Malta right now, that he did this work by someone who has gone to the same school as me and had terrible experience. Okay, because the hypnotherapist's energy was not good. Okay, so that's why I'm saying, just like any other service, where it's doctors, lawyers, teachers, okay, nurses, that doesn't matter. There's some good and there's some who are not that good. So you have to make sure that you connect with your healers, your mentor energy. Okay, so if you're gonna pick a coach, whoever, do your research, check their work, like reviews, check their videos, whatever, just to connect and use your intuition. Why? Because light can be deceived, okay, and sound cannot. What does that mean? So light as in using your eyes. So you're using your eyes and you see someone in front of you. Okay, so you're seeing me right now and I can deceive you. I don't know, with my hair or whatever. Okay, you could be deceived by light, but sound cannot. And sound is in reference to somebody's energy, somebody's frequency. Okay, that cannot be deceived. And that's why they say energy does not lie. So how many times Me guilty so many times, falling for this. This is a lesson for discernment. So you're an empath, you're going through spiritual awakening or doing spiritual work, whatever. Like discernment has shown up before. You have suffered as a result. You have fallen for the wrong people, and it's because of discernment. So discernment is discernment. It takes practice, but it does get better and better the more you start learning about this light versus sound. The better you get, and then people, and it gets shorter. It gets quicker. That's the word I was looking for. Faster. Like you discernment. It's just like you meet a new person, you could tell right away. Once your discernment become really, really sharpened and you're really in tune. So always go by how does that person make me feel? Because if you go by how does that person make me feel, then what you're doing is you're picking up their sound, their energy, okay? Which, that gut feeling in the solar plexus, that's your intuition, okay? So you're picking up on their energy, right? So whether you're going on a date with someone, whether you're making a business deal, whether you're choosing a doctor, a hypnotherapist, or anybody, or even like moving, or just like anything, right? Always use discernment. Always use discernment. Don't just trust everybody. Use your own discernment and go by how the person makes you feel. What are the feelings that you are left with by listening to this person, talking to this person, hanging out, even a place, not just a person, right? And if you start practicing this, I guarantee, I promise you, you're gonna get better because you won't be as easily deceived. But if you go by what you're seeing in front of you, or like going on dates, like, oh, he's so cute, it's like you go by that and guilty, and just like, oh, but I feel like I'm in love, okay? That's why they say love is blind. Right? Always how this person making me feel. What am I picking up? What's the energy that he's resonating or she is resonating? What is my body picking up? Because your body is giving you is communicating, okay? Is giving you clues. How many times you met a person and you see red flags, you feel red flags, because people can lie, right? They can lie, they can tell you things, but their energy cannot be hidden. It cannot lie. So even if they're lying, you can still pick up on their energy, okay? So those are the clues, and take your time, slow down to make decision, and don't rush. And you can always like evaluate, that's why they say don't rush, like when you're dating, to take your time to get to know each other, So yeah, so discernment, but back to hypnotherapy. I digressed, I guess. That's what my daughter always says. ADHD, what can I tell you? It's our superpower. It's attention dialed in higher dimensions. So we're everywhere. So anyways, back to hypnotherapy. It is, it feels very relaxed, and we get to the root. You don't even know, you realize that like you're like feel really surprised, and it's like, whoa, what just happened afterwards? Because when you come out, I say, oh, it's been 3 hours, sometimes even more. Like, whoa, how did that happen? Because we're like so busy and asking questions and digging and investigating to find out the root. It's like, where is this all coming? And it's not butterflies and rainbows. It's shadow work. Okay, you're doing the shadow work. So we're digging emotions that have been suppressed your whole life. I'm very transparent, and I tell people I set them up for success by telling them no appointments after a session because you're going to be tired, and ideally the next day you're off as well. So I work with their schedule to make sure, and no driving after the session. Some people, they were high after the session. Go for them. I mean, literally, I've watched them getting high. It was so funny. And they had a lot of energy. But a lot of people, if they're digging, if we're digging these emotions that have been suppressed for so long, and there was a lot of trauma, it's gonna be icky. Shadow work is icky. Okay, we need tears to come out. Tears that hold chemicals that need to be released, right? Some people have to go to the bathroom a lot during the session because that's another way of releasing. So yeah, but it's completely safe, and every single session, I always ask questions. How are you feeling? From 0 to 10. 10 feeling you're worse. It's always typically 7, 8. Sometimes 10. Because they're really suffering, and they've been suffering for a very long time. A lot of my clients that have been in therapy for a long time, or they've done therapy, or they've done a lot of modalities, and but things never gotten to the root. Okay, so that's why they keep going in circles. They'll seek help. They might feel better, but they didn't get to the root, so they still feel stuck. And then every single time after the session, it always drops. They always feel, so just after 2 to 3 hours, they start seeing the difference, and they feel, oh, beautiful butterfly. It's nature. There's so many sections. So they feel so much better after just 2 or 3 hours, and that's just the first step of the transformation. Then we have the recording, and the recording is giving your subconscious mind an upgrade. You're getting a new computer. We're upgrading you from the Atari to the MacBook because you've been living with an Atari system, an Atari hard drive, and it's so outdated. It's keeping you slow, and it's hurting you. Okay, it's keeping you stuck. So we give you the newest computer, okay, the latest, and I make the recording. It's about 20 minutes. You commit to listen when you're falling asleep, because that's where we connect with your subconscious, and first thing in the morning when you wake up, and it starts reprogramming your mind. It's amazing. So people notice the difference right after the session, and after they start listening to the recording, after a few days, it starts uploading, okay, just like the software, like it uploads. It takes 21 days. And so you are aware that it takes 21 days to break a habit and get a new one, like acquire a new one. So that's why I said minimum of 21 days. Some people choose longer. And it depends on the situation. Because if I'm working with, let's say, something really like intense, like an intense cancer case, I do ask for longer. And so they notice after the recording, and then they also start seeing the change during the coaching, because I provide daily coaching. So I am in your back pocket every single day, because things will come up. Okay. Evolution, transformation, ascension, whatever you want to call it. It is not a straight line, right? Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. So I allow this transformational time for coaching, because when things are going to come up and I'm asking, how are you feeling? What's going on? Talk to me. Every day. Talk to me, baby. Tell me what's going on, and sometimes it's like, oh, I'm doing great, great. Okay. What's going on? But then a lot of times it's like, I'm dealing with this situation. I'm dealing with, how can I handle this? I'm having a situation at work, or with my husband or my wife or children. These issues are coming up with food. These issues are coming up with, just everyday issues that, people deal with. And I am there to coach you, and it's unlimited. We do it through voice message, and it's unlimited for throughout the day, okay? And we do also meet once a week for coaching calls because there's a lot to learn. I got lots of knowledge to share, So anyways, so if you are in this situation, you are rock bottom, your soul is calling you, it's time for transformation, it's time to do something, because let me tell you this. My friends, clients will tell you the same thing. I had to go through it. There's no way around it. I've tried. You can hide. I've tried. You can hide under the pillow, under the blanket. I'm like, no. I've tried. You can, I don't know, switch partners. Try different diets. I've tried because I too was resistant to change. Because again, the brain doesn't like it. However, your issue will keep circling back. It will keep coming back in a different form, different person, different job, different house, different place. Doesn't matter where you move, because these issues are rooted in your subconscious. So if you don't do the subconscious work, if you don't get to the root, it's not just gonna go away. Okay, you're gonna have to face it, just like bullies at school. If bullies, they always go after the quiet ones, okay? And they're tormenting them. Bullies have no reason to stop. They're cowards. They have no reason to stop, because what bullies are insecure, low self-esteem, low value people. Probably they are bullied at home or somewhere else. That's how they end up being bullies. And instead of facing their own shadows, they project their own insecurities on someone else, and they go torment someone who's empath always, and it's got a big heart, and it's more quiet, right? Bullies are never gonna stop until you face them and you stand up. Okay, so this is the same thing. These shadows are the same thing. They're not just gonna go away. You have to face them. Okay, and it's not, like I said, it's not butterflies and rainbows. It's not. We come here just for the love and light, right? If you're going to the spiritual awakening, don't be fooled by the love and light. We came here. We have to face the shadows too, to do the shadow work as well. And we face them. We go through these shadows and these dark places, dark energies, and we face them. And it requires courage, I know, and it requires perseverance and patience. But you don't have to do it alone. Okay, you don't have to do it alone. You've got help. I will guide you from the beginning till the end to make sure that you're good on your own. And the transformation is really rewarding. You will not be the same person afterwards. You will not. You will be completely transformed. You literally go through a metamorphosis, okay? You're like the butterflies with the wings. And I will provide tools for you, lots and lots of tools for you to be able to handle situations. So teaching you communication, emotional intelligence, handle all kinds of situations. What do feelings mean when they show up? What's going on? Where they're coming from? So much. There's so much we cover. So if you're feeling called to, I offer a free 20 minutes consultation. I'm going to leave the link in somewhere in the comments. And you can go to my website and just schedule your free consultation.